The United States of Horror may contain some graphic or explicit content. This is not suitable for all ages. Listener discretion is advised. I'm feeling oranges.
Orange, you glad I didn't say banana?
Florida.
Get it? Florida oranges?
I got it. That's why I said Florida.
Florida Gators.
Florida.
Not to be confused with Florida.
Florida Gators.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Why, hello.
It's Kaylee, Brenton, and Jeff.
There you go.
There we go.
Getting better at our intros. I like it.
Heck yes. We're back again to tell you about some spooky, weird,
Paranormal.
horrible,
Questionable.
true crime related.
Eerie. That's a good word.
Some cool stuff. I think cool stuff.
It's very cool.
Thank you, everyone who's tuning in, listening, supporting,
Liking, sharing,
commenting, sending in messages. We appreciate you so much. This is something we've talked about doing I've talked about doing for a really long time. And I kind of sort of pushed everybody else into it, but
I was down.
they came willingly
I'm
eventually.
Why?
Shut up, Jeff.
102. Yeah.
So as we said in the beginning, today is about Florida.
Florida.
Let's not do that again.
I'm so sorry.
Way to be like me. That made me cringe.
All right.
I'll just cut it out.
You can't. You don't have. This is not fair. We don't have that power.
I got the power. That's getting cut too.
Yep.
This is America. Freedoms.
Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Before we get on a rant.
I'm sorry, I'm tired.
Before we get on a rant.
Shout out to my friend Rachel, who is a Florida resident currently, and she is the one who introduced me to one of the first podcasts that I even listened to.
Well,
which
hello,
got me
Rachel.
Into podcasts. So you can basically thank her for us being here today.
Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Disney World. Sponsored by Disney World. Right, guys?
No.
So who wants to start? Want me to start off a little bit?
I'll start.
You want to start? Awesome.
I'm in a listening mood, so I kind of want to say my story because it's really cool. And everybody who knows me knows that I hate dolls with a passion.
I love dolls.
Good to know.
The first time I rode Small World at Disneyland, I cried. I am terrified of dolls.
You don't cry for anything.
I don't.
He doesn't cry, guys. Like,
he doesn't. He's emotionless.
I don't know about emotions. He's good at hiding and controlling his emotions.
Not by choice. Anyway, before this turns into a therapy session,
That's
Jeff,
what this is. Didn't you know?
intervention.
Oh God.
Finding Nemo.
Dang it, not again.
So
your story.
my story is about a doll whose name is Robert.
No.
I love Robert. He's
Robert
my friend.
the doll.
I'm sick to my stomach already.
Oh, almost fell. Oh, that scared me.
And Jeff broke my chair.
No, I didn't.
All right. So I'm just gonna name the shout out to the website is ghostsandgravestones.com.
Ooh.
Is where I got the most interesting version of the story. So the beginning. The story of Robert the doll dates back to the early 1900s when a young boy named Eugene Robert Otto was given a one-of-a-kind handmade doll by a servant that worked for his parents in his home. He was often referred to as Gene, the boy, and he named the doll Robert and quickly became attached to his new friend. The home where Eugene lived, now called the Artist's House?
Artisans?
No, there's no N. Artists.
Okay.
Artist's House is located at 534 Eaton Street.
Is there good eating? I'm so sorry.
Shut up, Kaylee.
It was built between 1890 and 1898, around the same time as our last podcast was based in New Orleans. It was here that Eugene was given Robert the doll at that address, 534 Eaton Street. Do not.
So he was just given the doll?
The doll created a friendship that lasted throughout his lifetime and beyond was forged. While he seemed like an ordinary cloth doll, it wasn't long before Robert was involved in strange and somewhat terrifying events.
Terrifying?
It wasn't long before he was involved in terrifying events. The first hint at something out of the ordinary was happening one night when Gene, who was only 10 years old at the time, awoke to find Robert the doll sitting at the end of his bed staring at him. Mm-hmm. Moments later, his mother was awakened by his screams for help and the sounds of furniture being overturned in her son's bedroom.
Well, yeah, I'd get the heck out of Dodge, too.
I would, too. I'm actually, terrified right now, just thinking about it. Gene cried for help, begging his mother to rescue him. When she finally was able to wrench the locked door open, she saw poor Gene curled up in fear on his bed, his room in disarray, and Robert the doll sitting at the foot of the bed.
No. Nope.
This is quoted. "Robert did it," were the only words Gene could get out. The same words he would later use many times throughout his childhood when something strange, mysterious, or destructive would happen.
Yikes.
Nobody knows for sure why or how this child's plaything could actually wreak havoc on a child's bedroom or do anything at all. It's just a doll.
Yeah.
Gene's parents often would hear their son upstairs talking to the doll and getting a response back in a totally different voice. They reported seeing the doll speak and witnessing his expression change, giggling, and sightings of Robert running up the steps or staring out the upstairs window were also reported.
Double
yikes.
A
doll running. I don't like the image.
Up the stairs.
No. You had to sit there. You had to rest on that fact.
I did. It's bugging me. It's like
reports. So multiple people.
It's like Toy Story from hell.
Not just the kid or whatever, but now people reports seeing.
I'm gonna vomit.
Up the stairs, looking out the window. Imagine just looking up the window and just seeing a little dog just staring at you, watching you go inside of the house.
Not Toy Story from hell, because Toy Story would be hell. If you found your... Nope. Okay, anyway.
Sid's doll was so cute.
So, one of the final stories was involving Gene is Anne, which I'm assuming is his mother, felt uneasy with Robert in the house, and although she couldn't put her finger on it, she wanted Gene to lock the doll up in the attic where he could do no harm. Gene conceded, and as one could imagine, Robert the doll was not happy with his new digs. Soon, visitors at the home heard footsteps in the attic, the sounds of someone pacing back and forth, and devilish giggling. Neighborhood children reported seeing Robert watching them from the window in the upstairs bedroom, and told accounts of the doll actually mocking them as they walked to school. When Gene heard this, he immediately went to investigate, knowing that he had locked Robert in the attic, and there was no way he could be sitting by the window of the upstairs bedroom. But to his complete shock, when he opened the door to the bedroom, there was Robert sitting in the rocking chair by the window. Gene locked Robert back up in the attic several times, each time discovering him again sitting by the window in the same upstairs bedroom.
Nope.
No, thank you. The story continues. Gene Otto died in 1974, and when a new owner moved into the house on Eaton Street, their 10-year-old daughter was delighted to find Robert the doll in the attic. But her delight ended soon when she claimed that Robert was alive and that the doll wanted to hurt her. Yeah. She awoke often in the middle of the night screaming in fear and told her parents that Robert had moved about in the room. It wasn't long before Robert the doll was given away. Today he lives in the East Martello Fort, where visitors from all over the world come to see him. So the website that I mentioned, the ghostandgravestones.com, it's actually a tour company in Florida. But they'll actually take you to places and stuff like that. One of the stops is where Robert is currently located in Florida. Overall, out of everything that we talk about on this podcast, dolls are probably... I mean, I'm over my fear to an extent. I don't cry about them anymore because I know in reality, if they started jumping at me or attacking me, I'm bigger. It's fine.
Yeah.
Kick it.
It's still just the thought
of a doll. So, did you ever like the movies Chucky?
Nope.
No?
Never seen it.
Okay.
And I will not watch it.
The new one's coming out.
Don't care. I will not see it.
Interesting. You'll watch all these Saw movies and all these, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but you won't see Chucky.
No.
Just because of the doll.
So, did you read the part where people disrespect Robert and then have to write him a letter?
That was not in this article. I don't like it. I don't like it.
And she'll talk to you.
I know it was my idea to talk about it, but I regret it now.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So basically, it's said that if you go and visit Robert the doll, you're not supposed to take pictures and you're not supposed to disrespect him in any sort of way. So people who go and they...
like mock him,
or people who go and take pictures, they'll take a picture of him and it'll be at a certain angle, but when they look at the picture, he's looking right at the camera. As if he's facing the camera, even though when they took the picture, he was facing the opposite way. And so there are people who will like go take his picture, go back home, and then, you know, stumble upon a lot of, like, a chain of unfortunate events. And so if you go visit him, there's a bunch of letters of people begging Robert for forgiveness and offering apologies for disrespecting him. So whenever you go visit him, they actually have letters posted all over the walls and stuff like that of people, like...
who've experienced something and...
yeah.
Forgiveness.
Wow. I may not want to go now.
Yeah. So he is in a safety glass, from what, the article says.
You know, doll's worst enemy, safety glass boxes.
You never know.
Yeah. And where my story ended was an interesting concept because it ties into our last episode. Is the servant that made the doll for him, apparently it's believed that he put a voodoo curse on the doll because his bosses mistreated him as a servant. So he made the doll, put a curse on it. But there's a lot of theories about that because they said if that was the case, wouldn't the curse stop after the family no longer had the doll?
Yeah, that's someone else.
But at the same time, if it was just a curse in general,
maybe it was a house.
Like, yeah, there's a lot of different things. But at the same time, it's interesting that voodoo was even big in Florida, let alone New Orleans. It was big everywhere at that point.
Yeah, that's why some people even believe it's like more like demonic instead of witchcraft.
It's gotten a pretty bad rap, but it's really misunderstood, just like Wicca is. So
I scared myself out of going, so
I think we should go.
We need to go to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum.
We really should.
I really don't want to now.
Okay, you don't have to do that first room.
You don't have to do the doll room.
Or I can't say that. Huh? I shouldn't say that.
But what if he like senses that I don't want to go in?
They take volunteers. You have to volunteer.
It was just me and this one guy.
People out.
It was just me and this one guy volunteering for everything.
That's the thing that I appreciate is they don't force you to do something.
That's fantastic. I might go then.
They do have jump scares though, and those are involuntary.
I'm okay with jump scares.
Yeah.
I just don't like dolls. I can't. I really thought I was over this fear, but I'm not. Like, I'm not going to cry about it.
Well, there's lots of possessed dolls, so we're going to be...
there's a lot
We're going to have to cover all of them. Every single one, including Peggy.
I'm retiring.
No! 4 episodes in, you want to throw in the towel?
I didn't know we were going to have dolls 4 episodes in, and it's my own fault.
We can spread them out, don't worry.
I know, you're like, we can pick anything
I'll do the next doll.
Great, lifetime of horror.
I love how we can pick any topic we want in the state. What does Brinson pick? The one thing he's scared of.
I don't know why.
I think that takes guts. I think that's awesome.
Well, the reason I did it is because, just like the ocean, I love it the most, but it terrifies me to my core.
And what's on Florida's coast? The ocean. Like, no, seriously.
Ocean doll.
Yeah, imagine the dolls were coming at you and your back was to the ocean. What would you do?
I would cry.
Imagine us being on a big boat and then just seeing like a wave of just dolls swimming up from the deep.
No.
Oh, that's a
giant
good
doll
horror
at the
movie.
bottom of the ocean.
And I promise, if any of my family's listening to this, I'll have to share this story real quick. When my family discovered how afraid of dolls I was, my brother and my grandfather decided to give me a little bit of a scare.
Aww.
I remember it differently than them. But again, my fear probably imagined some other things. They put a Chucky doll tied to a rope in my closet.
No.
And rigged it so that way when I opened the closet, he would fly out at me.
Oh.
And they taped a knife to his hand.
That's why you don't like Chucky, huh?
I never liked any dolls, like I said.
But that just made it worse.
Before I even knew Chucky existed,
Okay.
I cried on Small World.
It was a real knife?
They claim it was a butter knife. I remember a steak knife. I don't know. Either way, I was terrified.
That's still scary in general. You weren't expecting it.
I was scared to the point of anger that I threw the doll so hard against the wall just to make sure I could kill it. That was my first instinct. I gotta kill this thing. Not like I wasn't mad at anybody. I was more like fight or flight, and I fought. But they would appreciate me at least telling that story. Now, granted, I was probably 12, which is still not an appropriate age to be afraid of dolls. But
that still would be kind of scary. You kind of open up a closet, all of a sudden that falls out. That would kind of just instant react anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, that would terrify me too.
So I told the story so that way, because I know my grandpa listens, he'll appreciate it.
He would get a good laugh out of it.
He'll get a good laugh.
Now, you want me to know even creepier? If you threw the doll, went out and your grandpa's laughing and said, "Okay, we got you." You go back in, the doll's gone.
Yeah, I know. I was afraid to go into my room. I made them get the doll out because I refused to even try.
That just brought back a distant memory of me taking one of my sister's baby dolls and getting red nail polish and black Sharpies, blacking out its eyes, adding nail polish blood to it, setting it up in my grandma's house with a butcher knife to terrify whoever came across it. Yeah, I got in so much trouble for that.
Oh my. That's
to be fair, I was being egged on by my older brother, and if you egg me on with something, 9 times out of 10, I ain't backing down because I ain't no...
Yeah, no wimp.
Wimp.
Like, that's for me. Like, if someone dares me to do something, it's hard for me to back down.
You egg me on, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's over.
Like, I grew up, like, kind of fine with dolls, because my grandma, she collected a lot of them. Like, both my grandmas and my whole family and my great-grandma. They had the whole cabinets full of everyone, and they always were looking at you. So I just grown to accept the...
That was something too. My mom collected the porcelain dolls.
Yeah. You knew how, no matter what, like you said, no matter where you look, they're always looking at you. And I'll go like hide in the closet at my grandma's house, and they'll still be looking at me from through the crack. Yep. So eventually I just learned to deal with it, because I'm like, if they're gonna kill me, then just kill me. I don't care anymore. Yeah. At least let me watch my Carnivorous movie or something. You know what I'm scared of? Bees and heights.
Bees?
I'm not really like scared of bees, but like, everyone's like, oh, they don't attack you if you leave them alone. No, that's
so
false.
Let's
they
get
attack
Jeff
you.
up on the roof and take the ladder.
And then throw a beehive at him. Yes, that would be equivalent to hiding a doll in the fridge. I will throw a beehive at you.
You grab a beehive.
Oh, behave.
Yes, I will take the stings to throw a beehive at you if you scare me with a doll.
So you physically hurt me.
Yes.
For emotional damage.
Yes.
Nice.
Your physical scars can heal emotional damage.
I'll be emotional damage too. You threw a beehive at me.
You are emotional damage.
And not only that, when people ask you why you have so many scars or marks on you, it's going to be a great story. My brother-in-law threw a beehive at me and trapped me on the roof.
Well, I got trapped on the roof by all my friends.
He sounds like an asshole. No. I deserved it.
I had a baby doll in the fridge.
So what else do we have? What else do we have to talk about?
I kind of don't want to go last this time. Again.
Go for it.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and go. Go ahead.
Me go ahead, go, or you go ahead?
I'm gonna go ahead and go. It just sounded weird when I said it. Go ahead.
Go ahead and go. I'm ready
to tell my story now. Okay, so Florida has no shortage of serial killers, but I picked one who interested me the most, mostly because he wasn't just a serial killer, he was a serial confessor. Dun, dun, dun.
So he confessed his murders?
He confessed to so many murders that they had to question whether he truly did commit those murders or not.
Wow.
So...
Normally the opposite.
Yes. This gentleman had a very troubling past, as most serial killers do. He was born in New York as Paul Zaininger. Zaininger? Sure. That name.
Close enough.
Yeah. He had 4 older siblings who his mother gave up for adoption. He was severely neglected, so much so that when he was put up for adoption at 6 months old, they deemed him as unadoptable. They stated, or county doctors declared, that he was functioning at an animalistic level to the point where he was playing and eating his own feces to survive. So,
at 6 months old?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Eventually, he was adopted by one of the nurses at the hospital, and she renamed him Gerald Eugene Stano. Stano. You get the gist. So his adoptive parents were loving and caring. They were the opposite of what his mother was. They were supportive. They did their absolute best, but unfortunately, Gerald was just prone to... Wow, I'm struggling.
He was just prone to violence and wicked ways.
Well, if he's doing that animalistic stuff at 6 months old...
This is basic, instincts of any animal, really.
That's not going to change.
No, yeah. So he had a lot of behavioral
problems.
Wow. He had a lot of behavioral problems.
Take 3?
Can you see my brain melting?
Yes.
He had a lot of behavioral problems. He was a bedwetter until... I'm sorry. He wet his bed until he was about 10 years old.
Yep.
Sign 1. 12. Wait, what?
He was not good in school at all. He was getting basically C's and D's, except for in music. They said he excelled. And he was a compulsive liar. So he was lying. He also was caught stealing money from his dad in order to pay off his track and field team members to finish behind him so that he wasn't a total disappointment.
Oh, wow.
Which is like really sad.
But ingenious.
Also, yes.
Entrepreneur.
Stealing from the rich to not finish
Make yourself
last.
better.
Sure.
Just roll with it.
Yep. So he was bullied relentlessly. All the girls made fun of him. He mostly stayed to himself, which only, fed into basically his bad behavior. He was arrested at the age of 14 for pulling the fire alarm at school. And then again, he was arrested at 15 for throwing rocks off a highway bridge at cars. So just generally, he wasn't doing so hot. His parents tried to enroll him into military school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. To try and straighten him out, but he continued to steal while he was there. So a lot of petty theft. He graduated high school at the age of 21 years old.
Super senior.
Yeah.
Super senior.
Yeah. So he had been held back in at least 3 classes. Just not very bright at all. After high school, he went into computer school. He did graduate. He got a job at a local hospital and moved into a hotel.
Okay.
So...
There's something there.
Yeah, he was starting to do something, but, as people in that sort of situation tend to do, he fell back into his old ways, and he was eventually fired from the hospital after being caught stealing from a coworker. So, a lot of petty theft. He ended up having to move back in with his parents. He couldn't hold down a job. He was fired on multiple occasions for stealing, and then also for tardiness. So, not a lot of motivation to do good, honest work, and he just couldn't keep his hands to himself. So, he ended up moving to New Jersey. He met a mentally disabled girl. They started dating, and he got her pregnant. That did not fly with the father of this girl, and he actually chased him down with a gun and demanded that he pay for her abortion.
Ow.
So I can't say that I don't blame him, because despite him not being the most intelligent person,
but that could have been the thing.
Do that.
Yeah, that could have been the thing that changed his whole life around, that made him become better or something. That could be a major life impact for him. And then doing all that, the dad chasing him down.
The girl was mentally disabled. He took advantage of someone who...
It's
that
pretty
way.
much rape.
Oh, that way. Okay.
Yeah, that's something I think we should leave to the listeners to decide for themselves.
After the dad had chased him down, he agreed, and that sent him down kind of a rough patch. He turned to drugs and alcohol, and moved back in with his parents to Armando Beach, Florida. So again, he's not able to hold down any jobs. He's still going from job to job, kind of just career hopping. When he meets a 20-year-old hairstylist. So he sobers up. They get married. He's doing good for a while, and then about a year later, a year into their marriage, he falls off the wagon, goes back to the bottle, turns back to his alcoholism, and starts to physically abuse his wife. Obviously, that's not going to fly with her. She ends up divorcing him. So she files for divorce. It gets granted about a month later, which is almost unheard of. So, yikes.
Must have really good evidence, or like really.
So that all that lead up basically is kind of to give you an insight into what's going on in his life and the kind of person that
he's transforming into.
Yeah. As I stated before, he is a compulsive liar. He initially admits that he began killing in the 70s when he was around 20. And then that turns into the late 60s when he was only 18. So around that time, several girls had gone missing in the areas that he lived, but there was not enough physical evidence that could be found when he eventually confessed 20 years later. So from the reports, he was most active in Florida, but he also was active in New Jersey. So it's now his 29th birthday, and he is in prison. He's confessed to 41 murders, but only 22 of those were actually confirmed. Yeah. From what he said, he often looked for women who were walking around because they were vulnerable. So he targeted runaways, sex workers, and hitchhikers. One of those women that he encountered was Barbra Bauer in September of 1973. She was stranded in a shopping center because her car broke down. So good old Gerald comes over, offers to jumpstart her car, says, "I'll even drive it around for you, get the battery up and going, and then, in fact, hey, I'll reimburse you for the gas." So he sounds like a really nice guy, right?
Oh yeah, they always
super
do.
Nice, accommodating. Wow, you're gonna go this extra mile for me? Why? Why would this nice random guy do? Yeah, no. She never makes it home, and then 7 months later, her skull is found in the woods by a couple who lived nearby.
Wow.
And then eventually, authorities confirmed that they were Barbra. It was Barbara's. After they found the other remains in the woods. And then in December of 1973, Stano choked Kathie Lee Scharf, who was 17, and her decomposed body was found in the drainage ditch in January of 1974. So another body was found then, and then in December 1975, Susan Bicknest worked at a bar Stano visited. He followed her home, confronted her, forced her into his car, beat her, and choked her to death. Her body was found floating in Spruce Creek under a bridge. So basically, his victims range from 12 to 34.
Wow. So all the younger. So did this happen after the divorce? Or during?
This was during, before, after.
Okay.
According to him, he started killing people back when he was 18. Killing women.
When he was still in high school.
School. So.
That's what I was wondering, if it happened before, then he got married and then anything get better, and then...
No.
No.
From my own speculations, he had this horrible birth mother who didn't take care of any of her kids. She gave almost every single one of them up for adoption except for his younger sister. He had one younger sister who had brain damage that the mom decided to keep.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And the rest of her children she gave up for adoption. So right off the bat, he has a core reason to
not like
mistrust women.
Yeah.
And then to go from that to
being bullied by girls and
being bullied by girls
or guys or whatever, and
they'd make fun of him. His own mother sends him off to military school. Well, his adoptive mother
doesn't really have that many role models in life.
Finds a woman who is vulnerable, takes advantage of her. That backfires on him. I mean, I'm not making excuses for him at all whatsoever.
You can see the traits of how it's getting worse. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a pretty clear picture of,
Yeah, that's why I was just wondering if it happened to get better at all, but from what it sounds like. And
no.
Like, especially if he says 44 people.
Yeah.
No.
In one article, it says that he could be linked to upwards of 88 to 100.
Oh.
Based on missing persons in the area.
And you probably could have looked it up even, or just claimed to do it, and you never know.
But with there being such a huge gap...
And he's a pathological liar, you never really know. And
right.
Yeah. Basically what led to his arrest and led to him being caught was he attacked Donna Hensley. She actually escaped from him after he attempted to stab her. Fled from him. He took off in his vehicle. Instead of chasing her down, he decided he was better off trying to just flee the area. She actually knew him from a previous encounter. She knew who he was. She knew what he drove. She knew where he worked. She knew everything about him. So he was pretty much... Like, she was the one that got away that really he was going to... Yeah.
Key witness.
Yeah.
So, did he happen to know some of the victims, or were just random people walking down the street, like you said before?
He pinpointed hitchhikers,
okay,
sex workers, and basically any woman who looked like she was in need of some sort of help.
Okay.
So he specifically pinpointed people who he knew were in a tough spot that he could take advantage of.
Wow.
Yeah. So he attempted to stab her. She was able to tell police pretty much everything about him. And he did not hesitate in confessing. He, right off the bat, was like, oh, yep, you got me. Well, while you're at it, I also did this, and this. There was a lot of speculation after the fact that he was hand-fed certain details and that he was kind of coerced into confessing. However, whenever he wasn't getting the attention that he wanted, he started to confess even more. So it's hard to say. There's a lot of speculation. Obviously, we can't ask him because on March of 1998, he was executed by means of the electric chair.
Good old electric chair in Florida.
Yeah. So...
Them in Texas.
He was prosecuted for a total of 33 murders. He received a total of 8 life sentences and 3 death sentences. So, I mean, he was...
Yeah.
He
was put down.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of speculation as to how many people he actually did murder. They were thinking, because of where he was and the timing of certain disappearances,
it could be up to
88 to 100 people that he actually murdered.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, his last meal was... I always find this interesting, so yes. I figured I'd, share it with everyone else. Fun fact.
I like fun facts.
Yeah, his last meal was Delmonico steak, bacon bits, a baked potato with sour cream, French bread with butter, a tossed salad with blue cheese dressing, and then for dessert, he had a half gallon of mint chocolate chip ice cream and polished it all off with 2 liters of Dr. Pepper.
Sponsored by Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. And then, also on top of all of that, in the end, he claimed that he was completely innocent and that he was actually bullied into confessing. So in his final statement that was given out after he was executed, it reads, word for word, "I am innocent. I was frightened. I was threatened and I was held month after month without any real legal representation. I confess to crimes I did not commit. I don't believe he's innocent solely on the fact of...
That witness and everything.
Yeah, she knew exactly who he was. I believe she...
Evidence.
I don't want to say for sure, but I believe she was a sex worker, and so he was seeing her again. And like I said, she knew everything about him. She knew what car he drove. She knew where he worked. She was able to tell them, this is this guy. And his track record, I mean, yeah, it might have been petty theft, but it just shows you where his morals were. He doesn't have much respect for anybody else.
Because he never really got respect for himself.
No. So...
Interesting story. That's awesome.
I thought that was pretty crazy.
I like your guys' stories.
I like you.
So I have a couple just urban myths. Nothing too major for me, no major stories.
Bring it home, Jeff.
Just bring it home. The first one I thought was pretty cool was called the Devil's Chair.
Oh.
So in Florida, located in the Casa Daga, the Devil's Chair appears to be a withering graveside bench made from bricks. But legend has it, anyone who still sits there hears the Prince of Darkness himself.
Ooh.
And his minions aren't too far either, as they supposedly cause visitors to hear voices in their heads until they leave.
No, thank you.
And so some of the theories, if you sit there with a cold beer or Pepsi, Coke, whatever it is, you get up and leave and come back, it'll be empty, but it will not be opened. And or you'll hear weird noises whenever you leave and come back, it'll be in a different spot. Like someone moved it. Or...
Can you imagine if there's just homeless people in the bushes waiting
that's what I was thinking. Like, oh yeah, Dr. Pepper.
Like they just live there and they're like, we got one.
They have like a little pin that they stick through the bottom and just like suck out the
free soda.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
every once in a while, the locals have seen dark figures lurking in the shadows, and some people have been attacked by
the homeless
things.
People.
Yeah. So
debunked.
So they don't know for sure. Yeah.
No, but that is interesting. I want to sit in it.
Oh yeah. So there's another one where you'll experience suicidal thoughts under the Fairchild Oak. So,
this is a different story.
Yeah, this is a different story. It's a landmark and a giant tree and like a tree setting, like a little mini park.
The tree. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really creepy. And if they're alone, and the legend is if you're alone, you start hearing whispers and like telling you about your failures in life and your deepest, darkest secrets, and like pretty much, kill yourself.
That's horrible.
And like apparently they found some corpse hanging there, people killing themselves, shooting themselves, like it's like the forest,
suicide forest,
but mini one. So I thought it was pretty cool how this place has that power.
Yeah.
But
that spirit of oppression.
Yeah, and how you only feel it if you're alone. If you're in a group, you don't really feel anything. I don't know if that has any psychological effect on anyone or not, but and there's also another park. It has a devil's tree, and you just get every time you buy this certain tree, just this one tree, you'll get like certain chills on your spine, and you'll see like the devil come from behind the tree and try to talk with you.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. A lot of blood has been shed near this tree. In 1970s, two teenage girls were killed and buried there.
Wow.
And like there's been a lot of sacrifices to Satan there, like with goats and animals and everything else.
Oh, not the baby goats.
Yeah, all of them. And like they'll grab like the corpse and they'll just like throw it on top of the branches and the blood will just drip off and fall down.
Are you kidding
me? So they don't know if it's like an actual ritual or just people were just like just messing around, messing around. Or some of it looks like fake blood, so they don't know for sure.
This is worse than Robert the Doll.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
It's not.
The baby goats.
That's a pretty cool one. And then there's the Tallahassee witch keeps watch over her grave at all times. So like in Tallahassee Old City Cemetery is there's a tomb of Elizabeth Budd Graham. She died at the age of 23, leaving behind her husband and 2 small children. Many believe she was killed for practicing witchcraft.
Yay.
For starters, her grave is the only one facing west, and it's really weird because normally they don't ever face west. It's because that's like a religious thing with Christianity and all these religions. If you face a certain way, it's not a good sign. So
I didn't know that.
But yeah, she loved Edgar Allan Poe and stuff, and yeah, apparently she is looking for her husband and stuff and her kids, and she just walks around her tomb and around the graves and everything, and
searching
cool.
for her lost loved ones.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then there's a couple there was a carnivorous. Thank you, carnivorous. Pink cloud along the Tomoka River.
Pink cloud?
Yeah, pink cloud. I spoke right.
Okay.
Yeah,
it is 1 a.m. So
yeah, I'm reading
a carnivorous pink cloud.
I'm reading from these different sites with these different urban myths.
Okay.
So and they each say the same thing. So I'm like, okay, that's a weird typo.
Like killer cotton candy.
That's kind of what I pictured.
So you know what I pictured was Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, when the cotton candy monster.
Oh my god.
Scooby and Shaggy ate him.
Yes.
So do you melt in the cotton candy's mouth like cotton candy melts in your mouth?
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm so stuck on that.
So can I keep continuing?
I guess.
Keep
Tell us
continuing.
about your carnivorous pink cloud.
All right. So it's on the Tomoka River and it's west of the Daytona Beach. So it was first seen between 1955 and 1966. It's a strange pink cloud that has been blamed for the disappearances of dozens of people.
Wow.
So it's like the mist or the fog, but in real life. So,
I mean,
and it's been seen during the colder months of the year. It is rumored to devour the flesh off of human bodies. In fact,
that one right.
many human bones were found in the areas after the clouds disappeared. So there's actual reports of this cloud or fog or something, and then some body parts on the ground. They don't know why they came there or what happened or
Chemical warfare.
yeah, that's what some people even thought too.
Scary.
If you think about it in a reality perspective, there's a lot of real possibilities that are more terrifying.
So
True.
no one knows how the cloud came to existence, though some claim that it was a swamp gas, and people who saw it say that it was more like fog that covered only a small area.
Shrek can't hold in his farts.
Some even believe that it was the angry spirit of Chief Tomoki, who was cursed for drinking from a sacred spring. Wherever story is really true, run as fast as you can and see it. Apparently you can see it sometimes in the distance, but if you get close to it, it disappears.
I'm running from all pink clouds.
So it could be like an aura or something, even.
You know, my list of anxieties grow by the episode. Thank you all. I never thought I would have to be afraid of a pink cotton candy cloud.
To be fair, you created cotton candy in your mind.
I think you said it first.
I did,
so.
but it's a pink cloud.
You said pink cloud.
But you've turned it into a pink cotton candy cloud.
So yeah, all those are just urban myths, urban legends, so.
That's really cool. I mean...
Except for the last one, the cloud. That just because someone reported seeing the clouds there and all of a sudden they look down afterwards, they see bones and body parts.
There's a serial killer that's chuckling somewhere because they're probably disintegrating the flesh off of people's bones with acid and then dumping them in the swamp. And everybody's like, oh no, it's the cloud. And he's like, little do they know, I'm the cloud.
I'm the cloud.
We caught the killer cloud.
Okay, but yeah, that's all I have. So I thought that was pretty cool. Couple little, urban myths and stuff.
But it is. It's really cool, and there's a lot of urban myths out there for sure. But
urban legends.
He said urban myths. I said urban
myths, legends.
I'm starting to
stories.
talk like him.
Yeah. Ooh. Put you down.
Shut up, Jeff.
You need to go take a walk with the cloud. Pink cloud. Let me release it.
Alrighty, well, we've had some pretty interesting topics, and for episode 4, since it is Florida I figured we could do something a little bit different to end this episode off.
Oh, great.
As many of you know, Florida is home of some very interesting characters, to say the least. Home of the Florida Man. So what I figured we could do is read some of the crazier headlines and just go over them briefly to finish off this episode instead of doing Weird Law. Or I can give you the Weird Law that I found because it's kind of funny anyway.
Well, let's start with the Weird Law and then do the rapid fire of headlines.
Okay. I found this one before I decided on the other plan.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. So in Florida, you may not fart in public places after 6 p.m.
Oh, I'd be in jail.
We'd all be in jail. All right. So that was Florida's Weird Law. Now get ready for Rapid Fire Florida Man.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on a game show.
If any pique your interest, there's like a blurb underneath the headline, so we can stop if you absolutely need to stop. But otherwise, I'm just going to go through them.
Okay.
Florida man attempts to smoke crack in ICU, almost burns down hospital.
That's funny.
Florida man flashes buttocks at IHOP after impersonating a police officer to get free food.
Awesome.
He got his free food though, right?
Yeah.
And I would do that
After
too.
he got his free food.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. What's so bad about that?
No, because he impersonated a police officer.
Not because he showed his
crime.
butt?
That's probably part of it.
Florida man bites off neighbor's ear because he wouldn't give him a cigarette. Florida man claims wife was kidnapped by holograms. Drunk Florida man attempts to ride bike through Taco Bell drive-thru. Fights with police. Oh, you have to see his mugshot.
Oh, he doesn't look like he got it. That makes me sad.
He was just hungry. I relate so much.
They should at
bro.
least let him eat this
I've
food.
walked through a drive-thru.
Yeah, they told me before
Apparently not in Florida.
where the inside was all, being worked on. Like, you have to go through the drive-thru. Like, really?
I think it'd be okay if you were on a bike.
Yeah, especially a bike.
Florida man inches closer to one-way trip to Mars.
Well, I'm interested in that one. What?
Okay, well, I'll just read the blurb. A 43-year-old self-employed Tampa man has made it past the first hurdle in a selection process to potentially choose the first team to attempt not only a manned mission to the planet Mars, but its colonization. My heart is there, I want to be a part of this mission, he said. His girlfriend said she supports his goal of relocating permanently to Mars. If he should go, of course I would be sad, but it's not my style to stand in front of somebody's dream, she said.
Interesting.
Aww.
Oh,
Kind of sweet.
true love.
Maybe she just wants to get rid of him.
She probably does.
Go to Mars.
Please go to Mars, babe.
I said I needed some space. I did not mean literal space.
Capture space in a jar.
Oh, God.
Carnivorous pink cloud.
Florida man holds up Domino's delivery man over pizza and wings.
Talk about getting a tip of something.
So instead of stealing money, he's going to just steal the food?
Florida man, well, this is what it says. A Florida man held in Clayton County Jail has been indicted in the July alleged theft of pizza, wings, and cash.
Oh, there.
So.
The cash made it a problem.
So, okay, so, yeah. Give me your pizza and wings. Okay, you order this and your money. Oh,
that's what I was picturing. Did you order pizza? Yes. Give it to me.
That's what I
put a gun to his
address.
and then just made it worse. I stole his money.
Florida people are awesome.
Florida man escapes adult novelty store with $300 Jenna Jameson doll in tow. Don't know who that is.
Okay.
Florida man steals 850 pairs of underwear from Victoria's Secret. 850?
At once?
Apparently.
Florida man really, really wants to force a jury to watch his sex tape.
Oh.
Elderly Florida man caught masturbating in McDonald's parking lot claims his privacy was invaded.
Well, was he inside or in his car?
Either way, he was loving it.
Yes. Florida man attacks nephew over undercooked noodles. Should have cooked the noodles all the way.
Florida man. Noodle.
Florida man sets apartment complex on fire after Manager told him to stop masturbating in front of windows. Florida man arrested for smoking pot in hospital maternity ward.
That's not that bad.
Wow.
Oh, God. Florida man calls 911 to check on his tax return.
It's been 2 days. Come on, IRS. Step up your game.
911, what's your emergency? Yeah, I filed my taxes. Like, oh my God.
Oh, man.
Florida man convicted of burying ex-reporter in concrete for his Magic the Gathering collection. William Cormier III was so desperate for money that he killed Sean Dugas in the fall of 2012 so he could steal his $100,000 collection of fantasy role-playing cards. Jurors convicted of Cormier first-degree murder after a little more than an hour of deliberations. Cormier III showed no reaction as his verdict was read. He faces up to life in prison.
Brenton, don't look at me like that.
Oh my God.
Is this collection for sale?
Cast down.
Cast down. Opt.
Wow.
Zero.
I'm moving forward on that one.
Yeah.
Florida man tattoos Black Widow spider on his face to combat arachnophobia. Sure.
Okay.
Florida man sent to jail after pouring hot sauce on 3-month-old puppy. Oh. That's horrible.
Got dark.
Florida man
Really,
attacked
guys?
ice cream man who wouldn't take $20 bill for pickled sausage. Florida man arrested after urinating on in-laws carpet during Thanksgiving gathering. Florida man pokes girlfriend in the eye after she served him waffles instead of pancakes.
Oh, man.
I see what you did there.
Wow.
It was probably the guy from IHOP.
Probably.
Probably.
Florida man attempts to leave store with chainsaw stuffed down his pants.
Ooh, that's dangerous.
All natural.
You know what, girl? I'm going to cut you to the chase.
Wow, Jeff.
Get out.
I'm desperate.
Florida man offers police officer $3 and chicken dinner for sex. Florida man resisted arrest while dressed in a Boy Scout costume.
I can see why he'd probably be arrested.
Florida man once arrested for fighting drag queen with a tiki torch while dressed like a KKK member, now running for mayor.
Wow.
Was that the South Florida or Northern Florida?
It kind of sounds like a Parks and Rec thing.
Yeah, it does, actually. Florida man tries to avoid court appearance by claiming he has Ebola. That sounds like something my brother would say.
Sir, why can't you come jury duty? Ebola.
Ebola.
It's really bad right now. It's like extra Ebola.
Ebola.
Ebola. How'd you get it? Edible. Ebola.
Why do you create tongue twisters for yourself?
It sounds stupid.
It doesn't.
What?
It does the opposite.
Florida man steals 36,000 pounds of Crisco.
Why?
Why not? Florida man caught with active meth lab in his pants.
Meth on the go?
Wait.
That's actually pretty smart, man.
Wait. I gotta hear this, because this guy's either a criminal mastermind and super, super creative, or very, very dumb.
Authorities received an anonymous call stating a subject was present that possessed methamphetamine. During their investigation, officers discovered an active 1-pot meth lab in the pants leg of 23-year-old Ian Frodishry. Not even going to try that. Of Dafunica Spring. Yep, sure. See, we don't pronounce things properly here. Ian of Florida.
So, Ian. Ian.
So he had one of the hot pot things in his pants. Yeah.
Wow.
Tar smeared Florida man arrested on convenience store roof at 3 a.m. That's tar on his face.
Is he the guy from earlier? From like the fighting the drag queen?
Probably. I don't know.
Is he gonna run for mayor?
Florida man accidentally butt dials 911 while cooking meth with his mom.
Gotta keep it in the family.
Oh, man.
Florida man arrested for punching 80-year-old man at Applebee's.
Oh.
That one just makes me sad. Masked Florida man steals $300 worth of sex toys. Cutting all that out.
You're double-sided.
Florida man escapes prison to buy beer. No one notices.
Did he go back? He escapes.
Adams told deputies he escaped a work detail and went to the Metro Food Mart. He planned to smuggle chewing tobacco, cartons of cigarettes, and alcoholic beverages back to Sumter Correctional Institute in Bushnell. Video from the store shows that Adams changed from his inmate uniform before going back to the store. The report says he returned to his work crew without correction officers noticing. So obviously they had to figure it out because...
So he got out, got stuff, went back, and just like, I'm here, no big deal, guys. And that's awesome. But like, why would you not just escape?
He just wanted some beer.
He just wants some beer and smokes.
He had a good thing going, man. All he needed was a little bit to take the edge off. I don't know. Florida man attacks ATM with hatchet after it refuses to take his check.
Wow.
I can relate to that.
He looks like he does some stuff.
Is he one of the meth guys?
You'll see. Yes. 2 more.
Alrighty. So Florida man accused of catching and eating protected tortoises.
Wow.
Florida man rescued from vending machine.
Awesome. Life goals.
Oh my gosh. So I'll go ahead and post a link to that list. I think there's 49 total. Or you can just Google Florida man and the craziest headlines come up. And I believe there's a Twitter as well. I'll let you guys just find that.
Don't touch me.
Sorry.
Keep your boyfriend under control.
You keep your boyfriend under control.
You keep your boyfriend under control.
Now everyone's confused.
I am too.
They've known what this was from the beginning when Jeff said he was your
Very first episode.
boyfriend.
Very first episode, like 4 minutes in.
He said you guys were dating. They knew what this was from the beginning. That's all I'm saying.
It's a triangle. It's a Z, guys.
It's a Z shape.
Z shape. Gotta bring it back. This episode was fun.
Yeah.
I didn't get yelled at too much.
It was very loosey-goosey.
Thank you for joining us for yet another episode.
Yeah, thanks guys. Make sure to follow us.
Episode Florida?
Florida?
No, Florida.
Okay.
Florida.
Well, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, conundrums, suggestions, speculations.
What do you think of Florida? You have any cool stories?
Stories, personal stories.
If you want to start sending in our personal stories, there's a high potential that we can get some in-between episodes recorded of those personal stories.
Yeah.
And that'll give us a chance to share our personal stories as well. So you can go ahead and email those to us. Our email is unitedstatesofhorror@gmail.com. You could also follow us on Twitter at USofHorror. And our Instagram handle is United States of Horror. We're also on Facebook, YouTube, most platforms you can now listen to our podcast. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and the list goes on. So thanks again for listening.
Greatly appreciated.
Like, rate, subscribe.
And we'll
Leave a
see you
review.
soon.
We'll see you guys on the flip side.